If you're stuck in silver, you are not alone. In fact, the majority of players are stuck in this exact rank, unable to climb any higher. And the reason for that is simple. Most players in silver keep making the same mistakes every single game, and they don't even realize it. But today, we're fixing that. I'm a jungle main myself, and I've seen countless silver junglers struggle to climb. The truth is, it's not your teammates holding you back, it's the same repeatable mistakes keeping you stuck. But once you fix them, climbing becomes easy. In this video, I'll show you exactly what's keeping you in silver and what you need to change to start winning more games. Let's get right into it. Before we go into the biggest mistakes, let's quickly cover what your goal is as a jungler. Your job isn't just to gank and get kills, it's to control the map, secure objectives, and whenever possible, aid your team to create leads. One of the biggest reasons junglers stay stuck on silver is because they waste too much time doing nothing. If you ever find yourself aimlessly walking around, looking for a play, but not farming, you're throwing away free gold and XP. Here's the reality. If you don't have at least 6 CS per minute, at least in silver, you're playing jungle wrong. Unlike laners who get passive gold and XP just standing in lane, a jungler's income is entirely based off efficiency. The more time you waste, the weaker you become compared to the enemy. Your first goal is to be consistently hitting 6 CS per minute, but don't stop there. As you improve, aim for 7, then 8, and continue working upwards to 9 or 10 CS per minute, which is the gold standard for high level jungle play. The better you farm, the more impact you'll have, and the easier it becomes to carry games. Now, think about how many times you've spent 20 or 30 seconds just looking for a gank that never happens. That time could have been spent clearing camps, setting up visions, or getting ahead in gold in general. And when this happens multiple times a game, you're basically giving up free leads to the enemy jungler without you realizing it. So the first fix, follow a clear jungle route. The first fix is simple. Always have a planned jungle route before the game starts. When playing farming junglers like Karthus, Lilia, or Master Yi, you should be looking to do a full clear every game. Your jungle pathing should be structured, clearing in sequence, either top to bottom or bot to top, so that when your camps respawn, you can clear them efficiently again without unnecessary downtime. You should also plan your clear around the first major objective. If dragon is the priority, path to that and finish your clear on the bot side, ready to contest when it spawns. If the grubs are your priority, finish your clear on the top side and set up vision. Silver junglers often clear randomly without a plan, which leads to wasted time and inefficient resets. Stick to a consistent path, optimize your farm, and always clear with a purpose. The second fix is only gank when it's almost guaranteed. This is where most silver junglers completely throw their early leads. If a gank isn't 90% guaranteed, it's almost always better to farm instead. If an enemy is full HP, has all of their sums, and their wave is pushing towards them, it's a complete waste of time to even try. Instead, clear your jungle, invade if possible, or get some vision so you can track the enemy jungler, and make a play when the odds are actually in your favor. And the last fix to this is to always have a plan. Before making any moves on the map, ask yourself, what's the next objective and how do I want to set this up? Too many silver junglers play reactively, moving around without a clear plan, hoping an opportunity appears. Instead, you should be thinking ahead. If dragon or grubs are spawning soon, plan your resets so you're back on the map with full HP, mana and key items before it spawns. Ask yourself, what can I achieve before that objective? Maybe you can secure some vision or try to get a pick with your team so that the objective is free. Higher level junglers don't just show up to the objectives, they set them up in advance, ensuring their team is in the best possible position to secure them. If you're not farming, you should be creating an advantage, whether it's through vision, pressure or picks. If you're just wandering the map with no clear purpose, you are already falling behind. So remember, farm efficiently, only go for high percentage ganks, and always move with a plan. If you fix just this one mistake, you'll instantly start climbing out of silver. The next mistake that I see silver junglers make is fighting too much for nothing. Getting kills is great, but if they don't turn into objectives, they don't actually help you win games. Think about it. How many times have you won a fight only for nothing to happen afterwards? You recall, your team resets, and the game just continues like normal. Meanwhile, the enemy jungler, even though they lost a fight, might go take a dragon or push a tower. That means that even though you technically won the fight, they actually gained more from it. Biggest difference between silver and higher ranks is that better junglers don't just take fights, they take fights that lead to something. So the first fix to this is always ask yourself, what is next? Every time you get a kill, you need to immediately think, what's next? Is there a dragon up? Can we take Herald or Grubs? Can I invade and steal camps? Can I push to get some tower plates? If you're just recalling after every fight without taking anything, you're missing 3 advantages. The second fix is ask yourself, do we gain anything from this fight? Before you take a fight, stop and think, do we actually get anything from this? Or are we just fighting because we can? Fights should happen for a reason, not just because enemies are in front of you. If you're randomly forcing fights in the jungle or mid lane without any goals, you're just gambling your lead. The third fix is be on time for objectives. Silver junglers show up late for dragons and barons all the time. By the time they get there, the enemy already has vision control and the fight is already lost before it even starts. If you want to win more games, start thinking about objectives before they spawn. If dragon is coming up in 30 seconds, move there early, set up vision and get your team in a position before the enemy does. So remember, every fight needs to lead to something. Don't take fights unless they actually give you an advantage. And always be the first to set up for objectives. Once you stop aimlessly fighting and start playing around what actually wins games, climbing out of silver will be way easier. The next mistake that I see silver players make is only focusing on their own gameplay and completely ignoring what the enemy jungler is doing. The difference between silver junglers and higher elo junglers are that they are always aware of the enemy's position and play around it. Now I get it, jungle tracking might sound like an advanced skill, but it's actually not as difficult as you think. Even if you don't have vision, you can make an educated guess about where the enemy jungler is, just by paying attention to a few key details. First one, pay attention to lane movements. So the first thing you can do to track the enemy jungler, and this is something that usually only happens till silver and in higher elos doesn't happen anymore, but that is checking which enemy laners arrive late to the lane. That could tell you if a certain lane gave the enemy jungler a lead. The second fix is looking if you can see to punish the enemy jungler when you see them. If you are on the other side of the map and you spot the enemy jungler, you immediately need to think if you can make a play on this opposite side of the map. If they gang top, that means that their entire bot side jungle might be free, so you can look to take it, take dragon, or make a play bot side. Silver junglers don't always do this. They react slowly and keep playing as if nothing happened. But if you actively punish the enemy jungler every time they show up on the map, you always will be ahead in tempo and resources. The third fix that you could do is ping the enemy jungler to help your team out. Another mistake silver junglers make is keeping information to themselves. If you see the enemy jungler on top side, ping immediately so that your top lane knows that he should play safe. A simple warning can prevent your teammates from dying to a gank and throwing the game early. At higher ranks, jungle tracking becomes more advanced with deep warding and pathing predictions, but for now just focusing on these small habits, watching lane movements, punishing the enemy jungler when they show, and pinging their position will already put you ahead of most silver players. So remember, always track where the enemy jungler starts, look for a play on the opposite side when they show, and ping their location for your teammates. Master these simple habits and you start feeling like you control the game instead of you just reacting to it. The next mistake that silver junglers make is playing way too many different champions. One game they're playing Master Yi, then Nocturne, then they swap to Warwick because they saw a high win rate on OP.GG. The result, they never actually improve at any of them. Climbing as a jungler isn't about having a massive champ pool, it's about mastering a few champions and learning their limits, matchups and jungle paths inside out. This is how you gain consistency, and consistency is what lets you climb. So the first fix is stick to 2 or 3 champions max. If you're serious about ranking up, pick 2 or 3 champions and focus on them exclusively. This way you can perfect their mechanics, matchups and jungle routes instead of constantly relearning new champions. Having just a couple of champions you're really good at will always be better than playing 10 champions at a mediocre level. The next fix is to just play simple strong champions for climbing. You don't need fancy mechanics to climb out of silver. Pick champions that have a clear win condition and are forgiving when you make a mistake. If you want easy consistent wins, play champions like Warwick, Amumu or Nocturne. If you're playing something like Nidalee or Graves, but you don't fully understand the jungle pathing and matchups, you're just making the climb harder for yourself. The next fix is don't chase the meta too much. It's tempting to switch champions whenever you see a high win rate champion in a patch, but that's not how you improve. Meta shifts happen all the time, but your own skill and consistency matters way more. The best strategy? Play what you're comfortable with and what works in your hands, not just what is strong this patch. A comfortable Nocturne main in silver will always outperform someone playing Maokai just because he's OP this patch, but doesn't actually know the champion. Another big advantage that this gives you is that your mechanics at that champion become way better. Mechanics matter more than you might think in this elo. Now a lot of silver junglers think that their mechanics are good enough, but the reality is, at this this level, even basic mechanics can be a huge problem. If you can't consistently clear your jungle without losing too much HP or time, if you miss easy skill shots, or you struggle with the simple things like kiting your jungle camps, these mistakes add up over time and cost you games. This is another reason why sticking to a small champion pool is so important. If you're constantly playing different champs, you're never actually improving your mechanics. Instead of swapping, pick a champion and start practicing your clears, smite timing and ability combos. These small details are what separate silver junglers from gold and above. So remember, stick to 2 or 3 champions, focus on easy and effective picks, and don't constantly swap just because of the meta. Also, make sure you are actively improving your mechanics instead of just assuming they're good enough. If you do this, you'll see way more consistent results in your climb instead of being stuck figuring out new champions every game. At the end of the day, if you're stuck in silver, it's not because of your teammates, it's because of you. Yes, I know, some games feel unplayable. You'll have a 0-10 bot lane, a mid laner who rage quits after dying twice, and an ADC who refuses to group. But here's the truth, everyone in this elo has those games, yet some people are still climbing. And the reason they're climbing is because they focus on what they can control. Instead of blaming teammates, they work on their efficiency, their decision making, and their ability to carry games. They don't waste time running around the map doing nothing. They don't take useless fights, they don't play random champions they're not good at, they stick to a few strong picks, and they track the enemy jungler and play for their objectives. If you follow these fundamentals, you'll start winning more games. And in this elo, if you play smart, stay consistent and focus on improving, you will eventually be able to 1v9. You will be the jungler that controls the game, not the one that hopes that their team plays well. So now it's up to you. Are you going to keep blaming teammates, or are you going to take control of your own climb? If you're serious about improving, hit that like button, subscribe for more jungle content, and drop a comment below on what has been your biggest struggle in silver.